You know what is interesting? You did not find this video. This video found you. And I know that sounds like something people say, but stay with me for a second. Because the specific moment you clicked on this, whatever was happening in your life, whatever you were feeling, whatever question was sitting quietly in the back of your mind that you have not said out loud to anyone, that is exactly what this reading is built around. So before we go anywhere else, I want you to take one breath. Just one. And then let us talk about everything. My loves, and if you are new here, welcome to this channel. I am so happy you found this reading today, because this one is going to cover everything. The past, the present, and what is coming next between you and this person. So take a breath, get comfortable, and let us really go deep into this together. And before anything else, thank you. Thank you for your kind words, your comments, your likes, your support. It means more than I can say. Okay, let us get into it. So today, we are looking at you and him. What was between you? What is happening right now between you? And what is coming? Spirit is already bringing through a lot of layered, specific energy for this collective, so let us just open this up and see what is actually there. Let us begin with you. Who are you in this situation? And then we will look at him. And then we go into what was, what is now, and what will be. And before we go into the sections, I want to set something up that I think is going to make everything land more deeply. Because on the surface, this reading is about you and him. The past, the present, what is coming. And all of that is real, and all of that is going to come through very specifically. But underneath the surface, this reading is really about something bigger than just one connection between two people. It is about what happens when two souls recognize each other in a way that cannot be easily explained or easily walked away from. What happens when something that deep gets complicated by fear, or timing, or circumstances. What happens to a person when they have to sit in the uncertainty of something that feels permanent but is not yet resolved. That is the real story here. And I want you to feel that as we go through this. Not just hear it as information, but actually feel it in your body as recognition. Because the thing about connections like this one is that they are not ordinary. They do not follow ordinary rules. They do not respond to ordinary logic. And they do not simply fade away the way ordinary connections do when time passes or distance grows. They live in a different part of you entirely. The part that knows things before you can explain them. The part that recognizes truth before your mind has had a chance to catch up. That is the part of you this reading is speaking to today. And that is the part I want you to bring with you as we go into this. Who you are in this situation, okay. So the very first thing coming through when I look at your energy is someone who is strong on the outside and much more tender on the inside than most people realize. And I want to sit here for a second because I feel like this is something that gets missed a lot. The people around you, they see the capable version of you. The one who holds things together. The one who keeps going even when things are hard. The one who can support others even when she herself is going through something difficult. You have this quality of being steady for everyone else while quietly carrying your own weight alone. Aww, but inside, there is so much more softness there than you show. There is creativity, sensitivity, deep feeling. Things you do not put on display for everyone to see. And right now, underneath all that activity and all that strength, there is a part of you that is in a kind of quiet transition. Reassessing things. Asking yourself what you actually want. What actually feels true. What I am also getting is that you have been through something. A painful chapter connected to a man. Something that left a mark. And while the acute pain of it may have softened a little, there is still something sitting in the emotional part of you. A kind of emptiness in that specific space. Not depression, not bitterness, just a quiet, hollow feeling in the place where something used to be. You are also someone who carries a lot. Responsibilities, tasks, things you take on, sometimes more than your share. And Spirit is showing me that this has been going on for a while. You are used to being the one who handles things, the one people rely on. But right now, there is a part of you that is longing to just be received for once. To have someone show up for you the way you show up for others. What is also coming through is that you have reached a point where you will not accept just anything anymore. There may be options available to you, people around you, but nothing is feeling like the right thing. Like you know what you want and you are not willing to settle just to fill the space. That clarity is actually something powerful even if it makes things feel lonelier in the short term. And before we look at him, I want to bring something through that Spirit is pressing on me to say specifically about you and this moment. Because I do not think it is an accident that you are here today. And I do not just mean that in the general way people say it. I mean it very precisely. There is something in your energy right now that is on the edge of a shift. Like you are standing at a doorway that has been closed for a while, and something is beginning to move on the other side of it. You have not fully felt it yet, but your spirit team has. And they are showing me that part of why this reading found you today is because you needed confirmation. Not information exactly. Confirmation. Confirmation that what you felt was real, that what you sensed was accurate, that the quiet knowing you have been carrying around without being able to prove it to anyone including yourself is not something you imagined. Your guides are very active around you right now. There is a protective, attentive energy surrounding this situation that has been quietly working on your behalf for longer than you realize. Things that felt like silence were not silence. Things that felt like nothing was happening were actually moments of deep preparation. For you, for him, for the timing of what comes next, and Spirit wants you to walk into the rest of this reading knowing one thing with absolute certainty. You are not wrong for still caring about this. You are not foolish for still feeling the weight of this connection. You are simply someone whose heart recognized something real and has been waiting with more patience and more grace than you have probably given yourself credit for. Who he is in this situation now, let us look at him. And right away what comes through is a very strong, charismatic personality. Someone who is normally full of energy, full of ideas, magnetic in the way he moves through the world. The kind of man who commands a room without trying. People are drawn to him. He is quick, decisive, sometimes impulsive, the kind of person who speaks and acts fast, and sometimes thinks afterward. But right now, he is not in that energy at all. Right now, what I am seeing with him is a lot of fear, a lot of intrusive thoughts that will not leave him alone, sleepless nights, a kind of mental and emotional turbulence that is very unlike his usual self. There is something from the past that is gripping him. A situation, a memory, something that just will not let go of him no matter how he tries to move on from it. He is also in conflict with himself. And I want to describe this carefully because it is very specific. He is someone who is used to leading with logic, with reason, with his head. He makes decisions based on what makes sense, what is practical, what he can control. That has always been his default, but there is something happening in him emotionally that his logic cannot manage, and that is deeply uncomfortable for a man who has always been the one in control. He does not know what to do when he cannot think his way out of a feeling. What is also coming through is that he is angry, not at you specifically, at the situation, at himself, at the fact that things did not go the way he wanted them to. There is a frustration in him, like someone who keeps trying to make something work and keeps hitting the same wall. And underneath the frustration is something more vulnerable that he would not easily show anyone. He is someone who can be charming, funny, the life of things. But right now, none of that lightness is available to him. Something is weighing on him too heavily, and that something is connected to you. And right here, I have to stop. Because what I just described about him, that turbulence, that sleepless restlessness, that conflict between his head and his heart, I feel like some of you just recognized exactly who I am talking about. You have seen that version of him. Maybe not openly. Maybe just in a flash, in a look he gave you, in the way he went quiet at exactly the wrong moment. And I want to know. Drop something in the comments right now and tell me, have you seen his struggle even when he tried to hide it? Type I saw through him if this just clicked something into place for you. And if you are brand new to this channel, please subscribe right now because every single reading I do goes this deep. And you deserve to have this space in your life consistently. Okay, let us keep going. Okay, now let us look at what the past was between you two. And what comes through first is something beautiful, actually. The beginning of this. There was a spark. A real one. The kind that surprises you, that you do not fully expect and cannot quite explain. Maybe you did not even realize at first how significant this was going to become. It started with something light, attraction, curiosity, a feeling of ease around each other that was almost immediate. But very quickly it became clear that this was not something casual. What I am seeing is a connection that goes very deep. A bond that feels like it has roots somewhere older than just this meeting. Like two people who recognized each other in some way that neither of them has language for. The kind of connection where you feel like you have known someone longer than you actually have. There was also a third factor, something that complicated things. This is different for everyone watching. For some of you, one or both of you were not fully free. For others, it was distance, or timing, or circumstances that made things difficult. For others, it was the difference in what you each wanted. But something stood in the middle of this and made it harder than it needed to be. What is also coming through from the past is that there was not full honesty between you. Not because either of you is a bad person, but because both of you were holding things back. Feelings that were not said out loud, truths that were kept quiet out of fear or uncertainty, and that lack of full transparency created confusion, made things murkier than they needed to be. There was so much feeling, so much chemistry, so much of that unexplainable pull between you, but it was always getting tangled up in the complications, and that pattern of almost but not quite went on for longer than it should have. He wanted things on his terms. You wanted something real and lasting, and those two things kept not quite meeting in the middle, not because the feeling was not there on both sides, but because something, maybe his courage, maybe his readiness, maybe the circumstances around him kept him from actually stepping fully into what this could have been. And at some point, something ended. Or something broke. Or there was a painful turn that left you feeling let down by him. Like you had seen who he could be, and then he showed you something smaller than that. Something that disappointed you. And that disappointment was hard, because the potential had felt so real. And I want to stay here for a moment longer. Because before we move into where things are now, I think it is important to acknowledge what this past season actually cost you. Not in a way that is meant to deepen the wound, but in a way that honors it honestly. Because here is what I am seeing. You gave something real in this connection. You showed up as the full version of yourself in moments where most people would have protected themselves. You let someone in further than you normally let people in. And you did that because something in you recognized that this was worth that level of openness, worth that level of vulnerability. And when it did not unfold the way you deserved, when the gap between what this could have been and what it actually was became too wide to ignore, you had to go through something private and painful that most of the people around you will never fully understand. Because on the outside, you kept going, you kept functioning, you kept showing up for your life. But on the inside, something had to quietly rebuild itself. And it did. That rebuilding happened, slowly, imperfectly, but genuinely. And what was built through that process is something that cannot be taken from you regardless of what happens next. A clearer sense of what you will and will not accept. A deeper relationship with your own knowing. A kind of quiet confidence in your own perception that did not exist before this happened to you. This connection changed you. And not only in the painful direction, in the direction of becoming more fully yourself. And that is not nothing. That is actually everything. Now let us look at what is happening between you right now. And the first thing that lands is this quiet understanding that what happened between you was not random. That it was meant to happen the way it happened. There is a sense of acceptance in your energy around this. Not happiness necessarily, but a kind of peace with the fact that this is what it was. For most of you, the anger is mostly gone. What is left is something more like a hollow space. An emotional quiet in the place where this connection used to live actively. You are not consumed by it. You are living your life, doing your things. But it has not fully left your system. thoughts of him still come, sometimes gently, sometimes stronger, especially in certain moments, certain cycles, like something that comes back around every so often whether you invite it or not. There is also a fear in you, a quiet one, the fear that maybe you imagined some of it, that maybe the depth of what you felt was only on your side, that maybe you built something in your mind that was not fully real. And that question, even when you think you have made peace with things, still surfaces sometimes. What I am also getting is that there is silence between you right now. Real distance. You are not close right now in whatever form closeness looks like for you. You have both pulled back in some way. The situation has been left to run its own course. And on your end, there is a kind of quiet resolve. You know what you want from him. You know the version of him you would accept and the version you would not. If he is not going to show up as the full, ready, willing, responsible version you always knew was possible, then you are not interested in the half version. That boundary in you is clear even if it is unspoken. Now on his end right now, he is torn apart. That is genuinely what I am seeing. He is pulling toward you and something is pulling him back. There may be circumstances holding him in place, something practical, something external, something in his life situation that he has not resolved yet. But beyond the circumstances, there is also an inner conflict between what he knows he wants and what he is afraid of, between moving toward you and the weight of whatever he would have to change or leave behind to do that. He is full of feelings for you that he is not releasing anywhere, keeping them very private. And those feelings are not going away. They are just building up with nowhere to go. You are like a guiding star for him right now, something he keeps orienting toward even when he cannot explain why or act on it yet. Okay, I need a moment here, because that section, you being his guiding star, him full of feelings he is not releasing anywhere. The silence between you that is carrying more weight than any conversation, could I feel like that just described something you have been sitting with completely alone? Something you have not been able to explain to anyone around you because they simply would not understand the depth of it. So come into the comments right now and tell me, what is the one thing about this connection that you have never been able to say out loud to anyone, even just a few words? Because this community holds it with real care, with zero judgment. And if you have been watching for a while and somehow still have not hit that subscribe button, do it right now. Because you clearly need this space, and you deserve to always find your way back to it. Okay, now the future. And what comes through here is something that surprised me a little with how clear it is. What I am seeing is a reconciliation energy, a coming together in some form, not necessarily a grand dramatic moment, but a movement toward each other that has been a long time building. For many of you, what is coming is a real conversation, a genuine one. The kind where things actually get said out loud that have been held in for too long. A moment of honesty between you that clears some of the fog. And what I am also seeing is him showing up differently than he has before. More willing to be present. More willing to actually step into something real rather than hovering at the edges of it. Like something in him finally makes a decision. A real one that he is not walking back from. There may be people around you who will have opinions about this, who will not entirely approve or who will have things to say. But what I am seeing is that this does not affect you much. You are beyond caring what everyone else thinks about your choices. You know what is real for you, and you are trusting that. There is also an energy here of something completing. Like a long period of waiting and wondering and almost reaches a natural end, and what replaces it is something clearer, more grounded, less confused. For many of you, there is a genuine chance here at something real. Not perfect, not without its complications, but real. A chance to actually build something with this person that has the depth and the honesty that was always the foundation of this connection, but that kept getting blocked before it could fully form. He is going to need to show up differently for that to work. And Spirit is showing me that he knows this. That on some level, he has already started working through what that means. Whether he gets his timing right, whether he moves fast enough, whether the circumstances align those things are still unfolding. But the direction is toward you. What I want you to hold on to is this. The waiting is coming to an end. This long suspended period where nothing is clear and nothing is moving and you are just sitting in the uncertainty of it all that is not the permanent state. Something is shifting. Something is moving toward a resolution one way or another. And you are going to feel stronger through whatever that resolution is. More whole, more clear about yourself and what you deserve and what you are willing to give your heart to going forward. The ending of this chapter of confusion is coming, and what begins after it is something that has more light in it than what you have been living in. And before we close, I want to speak to something Spirit is showing me specifically about your energy as you move into what comes next. Because I think you need to hear this as clearly as I can say it. You are not the same person you were when this connection began. The version of you that is walking into whatever comes next is wiser, more grounded, more certain of what she deserves, and less willing to accept anything that asks her to be smaller than she actually is. And that version of you is genuinely powerful in a way that the earlier version was still discovering. Spirit is showing me that what is coming into your life next has been calibrated to this version of you, not the one who is still figuring things out. This one. The one who has been through the fire of this and come out the other side with her dignity and her standards fully intact. Whether that means this man finally stepping into the full version of himself and meeting you there, or whether it means something entirely new arriving that reflects this new level of who you are, what is coming, is matched to you. Genuinely matched. Not almost right. Not close enough. Actually right. And Spirit is asking you to do one thing as you walk into it. Trust your own read on things. You have always known more than you let yourself fully believe. Your instincts in this situation have been accurate from the beginning. Keep trusting them. They are not going to lead you wrong. One last thing before I close this reading, I want to say something directly to you. You are not wrong for still feeling this. You are not crazy for the connection you experienced. You are not weak for still carrying some part of it with you. What you felt was real. What existed between you was real. And the fact that it has been complicated does not make it less real. What is also true is that you have handled all of this with more grace than you probably give yourself credit for. You kept going. You kept showing up for your own life. You did not let this break you even in the moments when it came close. That is strength. Quiet, genuine, real strength. And whatever comes next, whether it is this man stepping up fully or the universe clearing the path for something even more aligned, you are going to be okay. More than okay. Take that with you today, loves. If this resonated, please hit the like button on your way out and drop something in the comments. Tell me what landed, what felt true, what hit close to home. I read every single one, and hearing from you means everything to me. Thank you for being here. I will see you in the next reading. Take care of yourselves. Bye!